Oh, yay. That was kind of loud, but it's fine. Yeah. It's like when Netflix comes on and it just has that boom. Okay. All right, hi guys. Welcome to my showcase yoga class. Don't mind the nerves. Do let me know if you have any questions as we go, if I'm not clear enough. I invite you to bring yourself to your mat, find a nice comfortable seated position. Maybe you're on a blanket, maybe you're sitting crisscross, maybe you're sitting on your feet. Whatever's comfortable, we're gonna be here for a few minutes. This evening, I want you to take this time to celebrate you, to be joyous, to be curious, to explore your body as we move. Some of you have told me that you haven't done yoga in a while, and so use this as a time to explore where you are right now. This is judgment-free zone. I can't see you at all, so don't worry about that. Let's just have some fun kind of moving our body and seeing where that takes us. So from this seated position, we're just going to take a few deep breaths just to connect with your body, become present in the moment. You can notice if any part of your body still has some kind of anxious energy. Breathe into that space and give it the knowledge that right now it's time to slow down, become a little more introspective, and just take the time for you. Our world has been crazy the last couple of years, and so it's very important that we take care of ourselves, and this is one way that we can do that, so we have more to give when we come back to the rest of the world. From here, we're going to start some neck circles. You may want to circle your nose around or your chin. Either way, kind of explore how your neck can move around. You can take your inhale as you circle up, exhale on your down stride. Just move with your breath. And at the bottom of your next exhale, we're going to switch directions and see what your neck feels like this way. Breathing life and light and joy into any sticky areas. And as you come back to neutral, you can shake your head any way you need. Maybe you need to do a different kind of circle. Kind of let that space warm up. Moving into our shoulder circles, I'm going to take you through a way that I do it in belly dance, and we're going to do one shoulder at a time. So you lift, bring your shoulder back, and drop it around. Go ahead and do this for 5 breaths. And on your next breath, go ahead and change directions. For me, going forward is a little more tricky than rolling my shoulders backwards, possibly because I shrug all day. And go ahead and switch your shoulders. And for me, this arm has more of a grinding as the muscles cross over each other, so I have to give it a little extra love. You reverse your direction. And this time, we're going to take both shoulders and you can roll them together. As we return to center, we're going to do a little seated cat-cow, which is just to start moving in our spine. So on your inhale, you're going to lean forward, keeping your chin lifted. On your exhale, Lean back, and you can round your spine as you feel, engaging your abs when you're ready to bring them in. We'll be here for 10 cycles. And fold forward just as far as you're comfortable, letting your feet stay on the ground, just starting to warm up the body. For those of us who sit all day, this is a nice way to kind of loosen up some muscles that might get stiff being in that chair. And then on your last up into our neutral position, we're going to start our Kundalini circles. These are circles with your upper body around your pelvic bones. And it's a way of just bringing in some nice warm as we circle, moving our spine in a way that we don't really do throughout the day. It's helping bring the energy from our waist where we're circling up through our back, and really making sure that our body gets nice and warm and ready to move with us. On your next inhale, we're going to circle directions. And again, take notice if anything feels different this way. It probably does. Our bodies definitely tend to favor one side over the other. Returning to center, we're going to start a little side bend just to get some opening in our hips. So you can extend your left arm and use your right arm over your head. Using your arm that's on the mat to balance you. You can press into the floor with your arm, stretch with your upper arm to give more lift between your ribs. And your next inhale, we're going to lift and switch sides. Feel free to explore in this position if there's a pulse that feels good, if maybe a small twist feels nice. Perhaps just being still. And we'll do that one more time on both sides. Lifting the right arm up. And raising your left arm. From here, we'll come back to center, and we're going to do just a baby back bend. You can place your hands behind your hips, fingers pointing towards your body. And just gently lift your chin up to the ceiling. Right now, don't overextend your back. Just give your chest a little opening, let your back feel the curve. We're not doing any deep bends right now. And as we come up, let's go into a forward fold. You can bring your arms out in front of you. Just let your upper body fall towards the floor. You can feel how the lower back is different when we extend it this way. Returning to center, we're going to go onto hands and knees and do some of our cat-cows. So placing your hips over your knees and your shoulders over your wrists. On our inhale, we're going to lower the belly towards the floor while raising the chin towards the sky. And on the exhale, we're going to round the back out and bring the head down. And this is the way to start feeling how your back articulates. Feel free to explore different movements here. Maybe you want to try moving one vertebrae at a time from your hips to your shoulders. Maybe you want to start rounding from your shoulders down to your hips. Perhaps a side-to-side motion feels good here. I don't know about you, but right now my arms are starting to feel really warm and the shoulders are definitely glad I rolled them. Returning to center, we're going to go into our down dog. My heels can touch the floor because I have really stretchy calves. Please do not try to make your feet flat on the ground if that is not something your body can do. Right now, you can bicycle your feet. You can switch which leg gets some energy into it. Maybe you want to press further into your hands so your shoulders are open. This is a resting pose you can come to at any time. You can also go down into child's pose if you ever need a rest at any point. This is your practice, and you get to move your body how it's best. Finding a nice neutral position, we're going to shift our weight to our left foot and raise the right leg, keeping your foot flexed flat, raising your heel to the sky. We're going to start some knees to noses, so gently bringing that leg under your body, knee towards your nose, and then on your exhale, extend it up again. Let's do this 5 more times. And come back to our down dog, and we're going to switch to our left leg, raising it up into 3-legged dog. And then we'll do 6 on this side since that's what we did the other side. Going slow and having controlled motions here is the purpose. We want to feel how our body is moving, get back in touch with it after a long day of working. And from down dog again, give your shoulders a nice stretch. You can step or jump into standing mountain, raising slowly so that you don't get dizzy as you come up. All right, so from here, we're going to start some sun salutations, and I will walk you through it before we do them on our own. Raise your arms to the sky, and then we're going to do a forward fold, diving down towards the ground. Again, I'm super flexy. Don't force your hands to the ground if you don't go there. Then we're going to do a halfway lift. Hands back down to the floor, and you're going to step back to a plank. And then slowly lower your body to the ground. This first round, we can do a baby cobra. So you hover your hands, and as you cinch the muscles in your lower back, you can feel that your torso will rise up. This is when all your abs are working. If you push with your hands, you could overextend your back. That is not what we want to do tonight. And we're going to place our hands down, back into down dog, and step forward into mountain. We can do this 2 more times. Hands up, forward fold, tabletop, hands to the ground to plank, lowering to the floor. This time, if you'd like to do up dog, you can lift your knees and hips off the ground, step back into down dog, and forward into mountain, rising carefully. Do this 1 more time. forward fold, tabletop, hands to plank, lower down, cobra or upward dog, down dog, and step back to mountain. And now I'd like to walk you through 2 sun salutation Bs, which are just a little bit different and get us ready for moving into our other stances. So from here, we're going to do our forward fold, just like before. Rise to tabletop, down to plank, all the way to the floor. From here, we'll do our upward facing dog. And then we're going to rise into warrior 1. So taking your right foot, stepping forward, and your left foot staying back, turn to 45-degree angle. Strong. Yeah, strong arms, strong body. Celebrate you and the strength that you had to get through today and this week. And then from here, I'm going to lean forward a little bit and step into a chair. It's not quite the chair I'm used to it with. It's kind of fun on the yoga mat. And then we can release into mountain. And we're going to do that again, but this time we'll step forward with the other foot. Forward fold, tabletop, back to plank. Upward dog into down dog. This time, stepping with your other foot, rising to warrior 1. Strong arms again, keeping your body nice and engaged. Leaning forward, we're going to step forward into that chair one more time. And rising to mountain. I'm feeling nice and warm. I imagine you are too. So from here, we're going to do a balance pose. I'm going to throw it on you guys. For me, I'm going to do tree pose. So weight is on my right foot, lifting my left. Do not push your foot against your knee. That is not a good place to be. You can either have it below your knee or above, or perhaps it's just on the ground if that's where your balance is at right now, and that's fine. Returning to the mountain, we're good to go to the other side. Try to spread your toes across the mat. It's very hard for me to do still, but it's a one way that you can get a little more balance. Also bending your knee helps. I feel like my right leg is less balanced. I have more balance on my left leg. All right. So returning to our warrior 1 position. We have our front foot facing forward, back foot turned at 45-degree angle, and keeping your hips squared forward. We don't want to open right now. We're going to rise into into a humble warrior who's bending forward, contemplating his day. And as we raise our hands, keeping our front leg bent, we can lean back into proud warrior, giving ourselves a nice little back bend. Enjoying the moonlight if you have a lovely skylight over you right now. Returning to our warrior, we are now going to go into a pyramid. So we're going to straighten our front leg somewhat, keep a little bit of a bend in it, and then lower forward with both hands. We've created a pyramid here. From our pyramid, I'm going to have us go into another balance pose. We're going to put our weight on our front foot, and it'll be warrior 3. So we're going to gently lift our back leg, and arms are straight out in front of you. If you'd like, you can have them to your side, to heart center, keeping that knee that's on the holding your weight bent. It'll actually give you more strength. And carefully lowering back to warrior 1. And then we're going to do a revolved triangle. So this one, I'm in different directions, so I'm not facing away from you too much. Your front leg has a little bend in it. And then as we go back forward, your hand is going to go on the ground, the opposite hand to the foot down. And then lift your arm to the ceiling. Do not turn your neck more than is comfortable. If it's looking at the floor, that's great. If it's looking up at your hand, that's also And carefully lower your hand to the floor. And, ooh, I was going to do revolved half moon. So let's see. From here, we'll get to balance pose. Yay. We're going to put your right foot on the ground if your left foot is down. And then again, turning your left foot in the air, same arm as is on the ground. And then carefully return to center and back to mountain. Did you make it with me? All right, really tuck. And then I threw in tree again, so you can see how it feels. Just one leg this time. We'll do the other one next round. Does it feel stronger? Does it feel warmer? Is it curious what's happening? Now we're going to do that same series again with your other leg. So stepping back, feet are at a 45, the back foot is at a 45-degree angle. So from our forward facing warrior one, we can do our forward bend into humble warrior. Inhale, we're going to lift up and bend into proud warrior. Keeping that front knee bent and stacked over the ankle, keeping the abdominals engaged and the glutes engaged so that your low back is protected. From here, we will straighten that front knee somewhat, lean forward for pyramid. And then we're going to do our twist. So raising the hand that's touching your foot or right next to it to the sky, look over that knee. And again, don't force your neck to go any further than it can. If your arm and your eyes are looking at the wall, that's awesome. From here, we're going to attempt our half moon again. So you can place the opposite hand on the ground and this arm that's with the foot goes up to the sky. Keeping your foot flexed will help you with some balance. Also, if you squeeze the inner thighs together, that tends to help you have more balance. All right, you can return to mountain and let's try tree on the other foot. Now I feel more off balance. All right. That's our warrior one series for today. Stepping into warrior two. Your heels are going to be on the same track. Your back foot is at a right angle from your front foot. This is now where we're going to do some more hip opening. I'm going to straighten that front leg and we're going to come down into triangle. So pressing the same arm as the leg, pressing your hand into your leg and extending the other arm up. Careful not to lock your knees. We don't want anybody passing out. Squeezing or pressing your hand into your ankle, into your higher calf is a great way to help you have more balance here too. And then bending your knee and leaning forward, I'm going to have you do half moon this way. And keep your arm in the air and lift your back leg. Keeping my front knee bent is key to staying in this position. And returning to warrior two. Turn your left foot forward with the foot that's straight so that your feet are parallel to the short end of your mat in a wide-legged stance. From here, we're going to do a forward fold. Just exploring how your body bends this way. Notice where the floor is. Notice how your back feels. We're going to be down here for a moment. We're going to walk our hands left and right, and then before we come back up. So go ahead and take your hands. We're going to walk them over to the left. Remember not to lock your knees here. Notice if this twist feels different than when we were seated and did our side bend. And turn hands to center. And walk them to the right, the other side. And breathing into any of those points that might be sticky or still holding on to parts of your day. Reminding yourself that you're here for you, to take care of yourself. And as we return to center, we're going to walk our hands forward just a bit. Nothing that makes your hips walk forward, but just to kind of give your shoulders and arms a stretch. Keep pressing into the mat with your feet. That'll help you keep your balance. Go ahead and walk your hands back and keep them going back even through your feet and reach for the other side of your mat. Again, keeping your hips over your ankles, not swaying too far. Notice if the stretch feels different when you reach back versus when you are reaching forward. And if you want to grasp your elbows and just kind of hang here, that's also fine. That feels very different on my low back than twisting. We're going to put our hands on our hips, and you're going to slowly rise with a flat back, nice and easy, taking all the time that you need to get back up. All right, and now, do my favorite pose. Walking your heels in just a little bit, so your feet are about 45-degree angle. We're going to do goddess pose. Bending our knees down into a squat, raising our arms. If you want to do the full expression of this, it's very Kali-like, and it's sticking out your tongue is a great way to make you feel better at the end of the day. Something we can't do in the office, but you can do it on the yoga mat. If you'd like, you can pulse here. This is a good way to warm up the inner thigh, in front of the quads. My shins, I feel it in here too. It's pretty nice. So keeping your stomach activated, your core nice and tight, and not letting those glutes slip right now. We're really focusing on warming up that area. All right, rise. Whew. Go ahead and shake that out. Thank your body for all that it's done, all that it's doing. Okay, you guys ready for the challenge? We haven't gotten there yet. Starting in, we're going to do a forward fold, which we're familiar with, into down dog. Then we're going to do a plank. So forward fold, stepping into down dog, and then leaning forward into plank. We're going to, you can turn your one foot to the ground and lift your arm in a side plank. I'm shaking, but it's awesome. If you want, you can pulse your leg. You could also put your hand down if you need, or bend your lower leg to give you more support and less stress on your arm, which might be more comfortable. Yeah. There you go. And then we're going to release that side. You can go to hands and knees before pressing back into down dog. Sliding your shoulders forward into plank, and we're going to switch sides. So rolling onto that foot, stacking the legs. If you need, bend that lower leg. And pulse your top leg. Do you notice if this feels any different than when we were pulsing in goddess? It's a different set of muscles being activated here. And then releasing into down dog. My hips are nice and warm now. And coming down to hands and knees. This is my class's favorite pose, or it's my favorite pose to make them do. We're going to go into bird dog, which means lift your right arm, see what your balance is. You can tuck your toes of your right foot, and then you're going to lift your left leg, heel pushing towards the wall behind you. Really try to extend your body here, stretch, let it open up. Might not seem too challenging here. Oh, good point. If you need a blanket under your knees for extra support and padding, please do that. We might be here for a while. All right. Here's the challenge part. We're going to take our arm and our leg, I'll do one at a time, and bring it back 45 degrees. And now add your legs. Here's your challenge, is to do them at the same time. Feel free to just do one or the other if that's easier. My arm is up too long, I'll fall over. And go ahead and return to a neutral hands and knees. We'll lift the left arm, push back the right leg, find your balance here. Maybe it's tucking your toes. And then explore moving your arm back and forth, and your leg back and forth. And if you're feeling brave on this side, from bird dog to airplane. And returning to hands and knees. Now we're going to do one of my favorite like Pilates type moves. Lifting one leg, keeping that bend in it. We're gonna pulse it towards the ceiling. Lifting that heel, keeping your abdominals engaged, nice and tucked in so that they're helping. It's not about speed, it's about feeling your body, controlling your movements, being aware of what you're doing. Relax your leg, switch to the other side. There's not a lot we do in our daytime lives that really extends the leg in this direction. Might be feeling it. Probably tomorrow. Yep. Balancing out the body. All right. From here, let's go ahead and stretch into child's pose for a moment. Letting those hips and glutes relax after all that work they just did. I'm going to press up into a kneeling position, rising up. And here's where we're going to do a back bend. It's called camel. I want you to make sure that you are keeping both your abdominals zipped up and your low back engaged so that you don't harm it. Only bend as far as you're comfortable. You're going to take one hand, reach back for your heel, and lower the other hand to try and find that heel. It might be a little bit of a search, that's fine. Keeping your chest lifted towards the ceiling. If you can't reach your feet, that's absolutely fine. You can put your hands on your low back and just do a little gentle back bend. This really opens the heart chakra. Gently, you can rise back up. And from here, I'm going to change to facing you so that I'm facing the short side of my mat. I'm going to do a gate. So from here, we're going to extend one leg. So if you're extending your right leg, you'll bring your left leg to, or your left arm into the floor and raise your right arm, the same arm that's stretched out. This is gate. Enjoy the stretch you get through the front of your hips, through your side, through the front of your leg. And then you can rise back up on your inhale. We're going to slide down the same leg that's already extended for a little side bend the other direction. Breathing into your ribs, your hips, your quads. You can come back to neutral kneeling, and we're going to do the same thing other side. Learn to breathe. Your body knows how it moves best. Letting it explore these positions. On your inhale, up and lower towards the left. Keeping your core zipped up so that your back is protected and you're not overextending in any direction. And rise to center. Into down dog. Our next pose is a deep hip opener called pigeon. I want you to feel free to move your knees, your hips, your leg in any way that's most comfortable for you. We're going to swing up the right leg. And you're going to bring it up under your body in between your hands, lowering the back leg, knee and hips. If you feel comfortable up here, that's great. If you feel comfortable going further, you're welcome to join me as we relax into our hip opener. You may notice there's some sticking points or some tightness here. On your inhale, bring your attention to that spot, and on your exhale, see if you can gently stretch into it just a little more. Allowing your body the time it needs to feel comfortable here and relax some of the tension that it's been carrying. On your next inhale, we're going to rise up, pressing back into down dog, pedaling your feet or moving side to side, however your body wants to do that. And then we're going to swing up our left foot and do the same thing on this leg. You may notice that it feels a bit tighter on this side than the other one. It may feel better. Perhaps you leaned forward this time but did not last. Or perhaps this time leaning forward's out of the question and you're just comfortable in a seated position. Again, finding those spots that are maybe sticking and still holding on. Breathing your light into that spot, and then on your exhale, relaxing a little deeper into this stretch. On the next inhale, we're going to just rise to a seated position. So you can roll or move however you need to get to seated. We've got 2 more stretches for you, or challenge poses. I'm going to put you into boat next. So we're going to knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Gently lean back with your shoulders, keeping your core nice and engaged here so that your lower back isn't stretching too much. We're going to lift one leg, just kind of find your balance. Lower your leg and lift the other one. And I'm sure you can guess, but our next move is going to be lift both feet. Find a place where you are comfortable, but not too challenged. And then from here, if you'd like to join the challenge with me, feel free to stay and vote. I'm going to tap my feet, alternating. Again, nice and controlled. It's not about speed. It's about feeling your body moving. And 2 more times on each side. Letting your body really feel all these movements. One more nice hip movement that we're going to do. It's called rock the baby. You'll see why. From a seated position, you're going to cradle. So let's put your left leg in your right crook of your arm, and then your left arm is under, and your leg is now your baby. You can rock your baby back and forth. Feel free to do little leg circles if you want to explore that socket feeling. You can rock left and right. You can bend forward and back. It's whatever feels best for you right now. I can feel this in my low back, especially right behind the hip. And on your release, gently set your foot down. Try not to throw the baby on the ground. And switch legs. Placing your foot in the crook of that elbow. And then you can notice if this hip or these movements feel different than they did on the other side. They very likely will. And slowly releasing that leg, we're going to make our way onto our tummies. From here, I want you to do a crocodile. So you're going to turn your toes inward, rotate your hips towards the front, and just let your leg muscles relax into this direction. Again, this is another type of movement we don't do much during the day. And after all those stretches, it feels nice just to kind of relax into this. And your next inhale, we are going to actually roll all the way over onto our backs, but we're not done with the workout. You know me, I don't stop. So from your back, go ahead and have your knees bent in a comfortable position, about hip width apart. We're going to tuck our shoulders under just a little bit. And press your hands to the mat. And we're going to lift our hips for a bridge pose. Here, you want to make sure that your abdominals are engaged, your glutes are engaged, your quads are engaged. And reach your belly button for the sky, pressing your feet and shoulders into the mat. If you're like me and you're ready for a little more challenge, lift your one leg, keeping your heels straight, keeping your hips lifted, and you can pulse your leg up and down. As you've probably guessed, it's all about control and not about speed. And your next time, bringing your leg down all the way to the mat, and slowly articulate your back one vertebra at a time as you lower gently. All right. Make sure your feet are planted. Tuck your shoulders under just a bit, hands down. And we're going to go back into bridge. So we can do our other leg. You can explore here if pointing your toe feels better, if keeping your heel pressed out feels better. Making sure to press into the mat with the leg on the floor, keeping those abs nice and tight. And on your next exhale, bring your foot back down before slowly bringing your back down. Hug your knees to chest. Thank them for all the movements we've just put them through. Now we're going to lift our heels straight to the sky for a little legs up the wall without a wall. Again, we can do some leg lifts here, dropping one leg and then the other. Making sure to use controlled movements and not overextending your low back. We've definitely put our hips through a lot of motion this afternoon. And we can change directions from up and down to left and right, making scissor kicks. Nice and controlled, crossing one foot in front of the other. You can make this as challenging or as easy for yourself as you would like. And from here, go ahead and gently lower your feet back to the mat. We're going to cross our right foot over our left knee, and then lifting our left leg off the ground, do a figure four. If it feels comfortable, you can grasp your left leg with your hands below your knee, or you can reach above your knee, making this stretch all yours. Remembering to breathe, sending that energy into any points where you feel the stickiness or the warmth. In your next exhale, go ahead and slowly lower that leg and cross your legs and put your left foot over your right, gently lifting and finding a hold that feels comfortable for you. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower that leg, untwist those feet. We're going to place your feet on the edges of your mat, letting your knees fall inward. Think of being on a grassy hill watching the clouds go by. We call this daydreamer. From here, if you'd like to just windshield wipe your knees back and forth, you can do that. If you just want to stay in comfortable daydreamer for a while, it's totally fine too. When you have your left leg on the mat or your left knee down on the mat, you're going to lift your right leg, put your right foot on your left knee, using the weight of your right leg to help press the left leg into the mat with our bound side angle. Taking nice slow breaths into the knee and the hip, thanking your body for carrying you through the day. On your next inhale, you can gently unwrap. We're going to bring our right knee to the mat. Place your left foot on top for side bound angle on the right. Next inhale, go ahead and return your feet to the mat. Bringing your knees towards your torso. If you'd like, you can grab your big toes with your fingers and do happy baby here. Rocking left to right if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. For those of us who work in childcare, think of how happy that little kid is rolling on the floor. And for those of you who have seen my classroom, you think of the pink rug that I have rolling on that shaggy carpet. Go ahead and find your way back to center. Lower your legs very gently to the mat. Keeping those knees bent, we're going to lower our legs to the left, your knees to the left side, keeping your shoulders on the mat. Feeling this twist just elongate and stretch out your back, your shoulders, your hips. You've got all the time you need to relax into this pose, taking a nice deep breath, slowing your heart rate. Using this twist to unwind from the day. And your next inhale, we're going to bring our feet back up and gently lower them to the other side. Remembering to keep your shoulders on the mat. Your knees may not reach the floor, and that's absolutely fine. Just take this twist in the way that your body feels comfortable. Letting the spine elongate. Breathing into any last areas that have some stickiness left. On your next inhale, go ahead and raise your knees, putting your feet back on the mat. Take any other little wiggles or stretches you need here to get your body comfortable and ready for our very last pose. As we relax into Shavasana, feel free to tuck your shoulders under so that your shoulders have a little more space to lay. Place your hands either beside your body, or on your tummy, out to your sides, above your head, wherever you're comfortable right now. Letting your feet fall towards the floor. And close your eyes if you're comfortable. Just allow yourself to rest, to relax. Self-care is just as important as everything else you do in your day. And as you're ready, slowly bring attention back to your breath. Maybe you want to smile, wiggle your fingers and toes. Relax your shoulders. Bring a little bit of movement back to your body. And when you're ready, roll over to your favorite side. Give yourself a big hug. You deserve all the love and happiness. When you're ready, on your own time, you can return to seated. Thank you for practicing with me. Our time has ended tonight. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Super short. I go fast. How's my time? Yes. Awesome. Hi, buddy. I don't think we want to see your butt. Yay. Feel free to unmute if you guys want to say anything. Thumbs up. Cool. How do you feel? Nice and warm still? Yeah. It's very warm in the studio. You're all still on mute.
Well done, Emily.
Hey, thanks.
That type of yoga we were doing,
The vinyasa?
well, the type of yoga,
With a
differences between like this style versus other styles.
I don't know a lot about the other styles, so comparing them is not quite. Yeah. Like a yin yoga would be more of a relaxed, slower paced, really easy. You get a lot of room in the vinyasa flow to get the heart rate up and really moving.
Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome, Grace. Hi.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Hi, Tom.
My little helpers.
Yeah. Fun. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. There's Tammy. You made it. Hi, Tammy.